Tonight, full charge. The Mid-North to house the world's largest lithium-ion battery as part of SA's powerhouse push. And the Federal Industry Minister touches down in Whyalla on the back of the Steelworks Sale.
This is Southern Cross News with Tim Hatfield.
Good evening. A major power boost for the region with today's announcement from the state government that energy giant Tesla will build the world's biggest lithium-ion battery near Jamestown in the mid-north. And it'll have a strict timeline. If it's not in place within 100 days, the state won't have to pay. Rachel Nell has more details.
What started out as a Twitter conversation between the Premier and a tech heavyweight has turned into a major plan to help secure SA's power supply. Tesla, owned by billionaire Elon Musk, will partner with French renewable energy developer Neon to construct the 100-megawatt plant, which will store power from Neon's 99-turbine Hornsdale wind farm. The battery station will be 3 times bigger than the largest bank in the world.
The most salient point here is that the system will be three times more powerful than any system on Earth.
And will be built by local company CPP near Jamestown before December, creating hundreds of jobs during the construction phase. And it's projected the battery will last for 15 years, depending on how aggressively power is added and removed from the pack. A major factor in the agreement is Tesla's promise that the plant will be built within the next 100 days. If the company misses that deadline, then the state won't have to pay. The Premier said today the battery storage is the future of our national energy market, adding SA will now lead the world on energy security. Mr Musk's offer first came after the state government revealed its plans to secure the energy supply across the state following last year's statewide blackout. It's believed the project has a high price tag, around $33 million. However, Mr Musk said today that Tesla stands around $50 million out of pocket if it doesn't meet its deadline. Mr Musk will visit Jamestown within the coming weeks to assess the site and is confident the battery will become a tourist attraction. It's hoped the project will not only provide a boost for power supply, but for the region's economy as well.
Rachel Nell reporting there. In the wake of Arium's sale, the Federal Industry Minister visited Whyalla today, speaking with the Mayor and employees on the Steelworks site. Arthur Sinodina says the sale is an example of state and federal governments working together, which will see the national steel industry grow.
A save that has brought Whyalla's steel industry national attention. The Federal Industry Minister today seeing the steelworks firsthand.
With identified strengths that we can build on. It's not about propping something up to keep it open. This is about building on the strength that we have to take it to the next level.
Senator Sinodinos met with Mayor Lynn Brewer to extend his congratulations and talk about the steelworks future.
There's a whole range of opportunities ahead for us. We need to work with the state and federal government on this. Our community really needs to think big, and we've got a great future ahead of us.
The Minister says despite party differences, the confirmed sale is the result of state and federal teamwork.
It's important to understand that in politics there are some things that come beyond the partisan, and that's when you're dealing with the needs of a community and when you're listening to the community rather than thinking about how you extract a political advantage from something.
One of the great things about this whole endeavour has been the incredibly constructive way the state government and the federal government have worked together to assist to deliver a very good result.
After the British buyer was announced, the UK's International Trade Minister said in a statement that he looks forward to more Australian trade opportunities. Locally, steelworks operators are more than relieved.
For each of the operators, or the people who work here, like that, just that knowledge that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Parts of the Eyre Peninsula were treated to 7 millimetres of rain overnight, giving farmers further relief. The driest June on record has forced growers to rethink seeding, many switching to more robust crops this season.
While some people take up the challenge of dry July, farmers across the Eyre Peninsula are hoping for the exact opposite.
I've been farming for nearly 30 years and I've never seen it this dry.
The driest June ever recorded has many growers waiting nervously, but even with slight relief overnight, the records remain staggering.
I never thought I'd be sowing my crops dry in July. Looking back at the records, we're running about 18% of our average rainfall, and that's very unusual for a reliable district like Cummins and Yalana.
The largest rainfall recorded this month was upwards of 20 millimetres, more than the entire month of June. 7 millimetres fell in Port Lincoln overnight, while 3 millimetres tipped the gauges in Cummins. Farmers still anxious for more.
You could call that the break of the season for us, and so we're very thankful and very happy about that. Having said that, it's a long way to go because the crops will be ripening later.
The parched conditions fall on the back of 6 straight bumper years. Growers now doing everything to save their season and their pockets.
Equates to about $200,000 right now that we've missed out.
Many farmers, including Mr. Modra, have contemplated switching plants more robust to dry conditions, but it's still a roll of the dice.
Where we usually grow canola, we're growing wheat and barley. And we're even thinking about whether we should even spray out some of our canola crops. We're just emerging now and planting wheat and barley just because the season's so late.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Households in Broken Hill and surrounding towns will be paying more for water following price hikes from the New South Wales government. Increases to water availability and sewage access charges means that locals will have to pay a lot more before they even turn on a tap.
Almost all essential water charges for the far west of New South Wales have been hiked up by more than 2% for the next financial year.
The cost of connecting to the water pipelines is up. The cost of having your sewerage connected to the grid is up. The cost of having someone come out and read your meter is up.
Even requesting a plumber to come out and inspect your pipes will now cost you $35 more. The price hike means households in Broken Hill, Menindee and Silverton will pay more than $800 a year before a single drop of water comes out of their taps.
This is at a time when everyone's pay packet's only growing by 1.9%. That means the government is reaching deeper into your pockets in order to make their accounts look good.
And it's only going to get worse. The state government will not exempt the $500 million Murray River pipeline from the water access charge. This means every single dollar spent on the pipeline project will be recovered from Far West households and businesses. And there's still no clear indication of what prices will be once the pipeline is complete.
The moment this pipeline is finished and the moment this pipeline starts working, the cost of building it has to be recovered from everybody's bill. If you think it's bad now, wait for what it's going to be in a couple of years.
Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us. Still to come in tonight's local news, Whyalla set to become a health hub in the training of future medicos. The details ahead. Welcome back. The Clare and Gilbert Valleys have been awarded $30,000 to design a new road crossing over Blythe Road for easier access to the Clare High School. The plans focus on improving pedestrian safety and also aim to encourage active living with the development of a new cyclist path.
Trying to cross the road in before and after school traffic has proven to be dangerous, with many students taking unnecessary risks to get into class on time.
Blythe Road, there's no formal access for pedestrians to basically cross safely from Horrocks Highway through to the high school.
The council, in conjunction with the high school, raised the concern a number of years ago, but has only just received the appropriate funding. The $30,000 award has been granted to design a plan focusing on improving pedestrian safety when walking to and from the school.
This resident win grant is basically just for detailed design and costing. Once the detailed design and costing is complete, this will allow council to proceed with possible sourcing of grant funding to go towards the construction of the project.
And active living will be encouraged throughout the detailed plan. The funding will focus on designing a road crossing here out the front of the Clare High School to improve the safety of students. A separate pathway for pedestrians and cyclists will also be created. In Clare, Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
The good news continues for Whyalla, with the city to host one of 26 regional training hubs that will support trainee doctors on placement. The member for Greys says he hopes it'll encourage more doctors to consider working in regional areas.
It's no secret getting doctors into rural and regional communities can be difficult. And with the regional workforce ageing, there have been numerous warnings of a crisis unless action is taken. The first step has been made, with Whyalla selected to host a regional training hub, which will hopefully convince more doctors to go country.
We know the more time they spend training in situ, the more chance we have of attracting them to come back and work in that place or similar places.
Previous shortages had been patched over with foreign professionals who were forced to go rural for work. Mr. Ramsey says an increase in the amount of students studying medicine means the government needs to help them find places.
Coming out as qualified doctors as such, even though they're not GPs at that stage, out of the university system, that we will inevitably stop allowing so many foreign-trained doctors to come into the country.
Mr. Ramsey says Whylla's health infrastructure and services make it the perfect place to set up the hub. He also says he expects the program will join forces with the University of Adelaide, who already operate a rural health clinic in Whyalla.
My understanding, pretty much one and the same. We're working with Adelaide University, so that's what I said, it'll be a beefing up of that program.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Broken Hill's mayor says the council is looking to scope out the possibility of applying for a World Heritage listing. She says the Silver City has a vast history of mining and unionism, as well as a rich mineral resource.
In 2015, Broken Hill became Australia's first heritage-listed city, and now council is looking to go global.
If you can imagine saying Kakadu, the Great Barrier Reef and the Line of Load in Broken Hill, and putting us on that international market in terms of tourism, it's a great win for Broken Hill.
Council has decided to look into a scoping paper for a World Heritage listing. There are 10 different criteria for a World Heritage listing, and the first step is to identify what Broken Hill meets.
There's been a lot of work done about Broken Hill being recognised as our first heritage city. This is a time that Council's looking at, should we go the next stage?
Mayor Turley says there are 3 elements in Broken Hill's favour. One is the city's geology. She says there are over 300 specimens identified around the city's line of load alone. Another is the union movement and its effects to working life in Australia and the world.
And then there are other elements about the mining industry in itself. You know, you've got the starts of BHP in Broken Hill, the start of Rio Tinto was grown in Broken Hill as well. So there are some elements around there. There are many elements that we won't meet. We're going to focus on those that we do and see how we can bring the best out.
The paper could take up to 9 months to complete, and that depends on when they start.
It's quite extensive, but there is a lot of work that's already been done in our application for our Australian listing. And so once we work out what criteria we'll be applying for, then we can actually say how far it will take us.
Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us. When we return after the break, we'll meet the Irish walker on a pit stop in Port Augusta as part of a global trek. The details ahead. Welcome back. A multi-million-dollar upgrade to the Port Lincoln wastewater treatment plant will see brand new facilities by 2020. The $5 million injection by the state government, allocated during this year's budget, will coincide with $16 million already set aside.
It's been on the nose for some time, but finally there's a plan to upgrade Port Lincoln's wastewater treatment plant.
There was a smell issue emanating from the treatment plant some time ago. That was identified as a sludge problem, so the capital works that are expected will change the way that those anaerobic ponds are managed.
The multi-million-dollar upgrade will see an increased network to the sludge management facilities, including a larger basin for salty water, greatly benefiting local residents and industries.
It does now give us capacity not only to expand our residential properties with further connections, but to deal with the industrial waste, the wastewater that comes from some of our fish processing factories.
The funding allocated to SA Water comes on the back of the state government finding $5 million in next year's budget. The $21 million upgrade will finally see closure to the issue. Mayor Green happy with the outcome.
We've identified the problem for quite a number of years, and the trade waste issue for some of our manufacturers has been a difficult issue to deal with. and now with SA Water having identified some solutions, it's very welcome now that we can see an end to this.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
An Irish world walker and record holder has stopped off in Port Augusta on his way from Sydney to Perth after walking for 3 months across the outback. He's on a world walk to raise awareness for early cancer screening and is enjoying a bit of a rest in the top of the Gulf.
Tony Manigan is no average 60-year-old. He's travelling the globe with his message that early cancer screening saves lives.
So I'm addicted to travel, and part of this is that it's also a cancer awareness walk. Because my mother, she died from cancer, so I decided to do this world walk in aid of cancer awareness. My message is that life is precious and early cancer screening can save your life.
This trip he has a companion in Michael Gillian, an endurance running recovery specialist who drives this car while Tony walks. After 3 months on the road, he's now in Port Augusta making the most of reliable Wi-Fi and a rest.
And to be honest with you, I love travelling, I love meeting people and seeing the world at a nice slow pace. When you're on foot or on a bicycle, you see the world at a very, very slow pace.
And he does his treks on little funds.
I advise people just, age is no barrier, I'm 60. You can do what you want to do.
From travelling 50,000 kilometres in 4 years, he says people are the highlight of his trips.
It's always about people, and cultures are different all over the world, but basically we're all the same. We all bleed the same colour, and we all have family, and we love our family. We want the best for everyone.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Well, our resident footy tippers across SA have a well-earned week off as the best country footballers from across the region take part in the Country Football Championships this weekend. The annual championships being held in Murray Bridge this year and will combine leagues from each regional zone as they showcase the best players from across South Australia. The carnival will be a welcome boost to the local economy over there, with more than 300 players from our region making the journey to Murray Bridge. The Murray South East team are the favourites for back-to-back titles, but we wish all of our regions all the very best of luck. Silver City players hitting the field as usual, however. Here's our Broken Hill footy tips.
Round 12 of Broken Hill football this week sees South take on North. Last time these two teams met, South ran over the top of them. I don't believe North will let it happen again and will win easy on the day, I reckon by 20 points plus. Second game sees the Magpies take on the Robins at the Memorial Oval. This game could go either way, with 3 playing 4. The Magpies have certainly got a strong side, and West on the day could take over the Magpies, but I think it'll be the Magpies on the day by 15 to 20 points. Get to your local AFL.
Well, stay with us after the break, a check of the weekend weather. Welcome back. Turning to the weather now, and first tonight's weather photo. Some menacing clouds out over Port Pirie this week. Thanks to Malcolm Jones for sending this one in. If you have a weather photo to share, you can email it in to us. More showers around the place for today, with 17 the top in Port Augusta and 16 for Whyalla and for Port Pirie as well. Port Lincoln, a wet and windy day, a top of 17 degrees and a sunny 16 in Broken Hill. On the national satellite image, a heavy cloud band is moving across the region. With it, we'll see more scattered showers. Out on the water, the winds to 20 knots and northwesterly. Tomorrow the seas to 3 metres and southerly. Sunrises at 7:25. So looking at tomorrow, a sunny 17 for Port Augusta and for Whyalla as well. Port Pirie with showers and 16. The same down in Port Lincoln and a sunny 16 over in Broken Hill. And then looking ahead, showers on Sunday in Port Lincoln. They'll linger next week. Fine and cool for Cleve, 15 then 18. And in Woodner, 16 then 17 for Sunday and into Monday. Whyalla with a fine 16 on Sunday, 17 degrees on Monday. Just above that for Port Augusta with 17 then 18. Kadina showers and 15 degrees to wrap up the weekend. Port Pirie looking at 16 both days, mainly fine. Clare with some Sunday showers, just 13 degrees. Broken Hill with a fine 17 on Sunday and on Monday as well. And that is the local news for this evening and for the week. Don't forget, as always, you can stay up to date with us on Facebook and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email. We'll see you back here on Monday night from 6:30. Stay with us now. Friday footy. Go the Crows. Next on Southern Cross. I'm Tim Hatfield from the team here at Southern Cross News. Have a good evening. Good night.